After this comment period, the township business meeting will begin, and there will be no further questions or comments from the floor. Please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. We put a 3-minute limit on everyone, so they know that. First of all, anything on the agenda, does anybody have any comments on any questions on the agenda? Go ahead, step to the microphone, please.
Bob Bedner, Coleman Road. Was just wanted to know how and when they were going to do something with Coleman Road, seeing it's fallen over the hill in 3 to 4 different places. It's getting really bad, and I'm concerned about the people that drive the road and the people who ride the school bus and my customers and my family.
Well, we did a repair out there on one section that was bad for $142,000, and I know I've talked to Bill about doing some drainage with the public works out there this year, and Bill can talk about that if you want to. You know, I thought that'd be a good idea to see what you could do since the paving season's just about over now.
It's not a matter of pavement. It's the road is falling into the creek again. You're going to have the same problem you had up the road a little further if something isn't done.
And that has to do with drainage, though, with the water drainage, too. I'm sure that's what's causing part of that problem.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thank you. Anything else on the agenda?
Patty DeShilly, Coleman Road. The last meeting we were here, Dan was asked which road was in worse repair, Coleman Road or Auger Road. And I think what we should have asked him, which one is more dangerous. There are quite a few places, like Bob said, at least 4 places where the road is falling over the hill. One has already been repaired twice, and it's caving in again. It's probably sunk about 1 foot this year for about a 35-foot section. And it's going to go. There's no question. It's going to go over the hill. It's already been repaired twice. How much money have we put into those 2 repairs already? We don't have the money to fix it, but we keep putting Band-Aids on these open wounds.
But I think what we addressed in just a minute ago, I think one of the things we need to do is look at the drainage on there. That's going to help out tremendously.
It's not the drainage. There's nothing to hold the road up. The hillside is gone.
Well, that's what happens when you get water underneath it, moving it and letting it slide. Okay. And that's what I've discussed with Bill, is what we need to look into is the drainage on it, correct?
Well, as we discussed, Andy, one of the things that needs to be done is a soil investigation done to determine exactly what is going on with that road. Is it a matter of groundwater that's creating a slip plane within the bedrock? Or is it a typical rotation that you would normally find with a slide? And based on my field investigations out there is no scarp line at the top of that hill or at the bottom of the hill to indicate that it's a rotation. So I suspect that what it is groundwater that's lubricating that hillside, causing it to move. Now, what you have to do is determine what elevation where that water is coming out at. Just like that area that we repaired up there on Coleman Road already. A lot of people looked at that, and you could see where the water was coming out between the soil and the top of the bedrock. That creates a slip plane for the soil to move across. And I'm guessing that that's what's going on in these other locations. Whether you can get that with drainage would depend on the elevation of the bedrock and where that water is actually coming out of the hillside. Some of it may be too deep to pick up with drainage. You can pick it up with combination pipe. Combination pipe is nothing more than a smoothbore, slotted drain pipe, 15, 18 inch diameter, if it's not too deep. But the first thing that has to be done is some borings taken out there to determine exactly what's going on with that road and at what elevation that drainage needs to be placed, whether it can in fact be placed.
So the boring samplings, you're saying, would be a good way to figure out what exactly is wrong.
That's the first start. That's a good first start where we have to go before we start looking for the landmine with our eyes closed.
Bill, that was supposed to be done this summer. this year, and nothing's been done. And at this point, that's only a guess. We need to find out what the condition of this road is underneath and proceed and stop playing games. This is not meant for you, but rather our supervisors.
And I would still like Dan to answer, which road is more dangerous?
I have not been out on Coleman Road recently. I haven't been there in probably a month or so, so I don't know what the conditions are today. But I'm glad to look at it and determine if there are any areas that we would feel that need immediate attention. We just recently walked the road, and Joe Seitz isn't here tonight. Joe's our project manager who looked at things, and I'm going to give a report a little bit later on the agenda for a comprehensive look at Coleman Road. I think we've kind of whittled it down to what we think we can do to rebuild the road, put the drainage out there, and do what we need to do the road right. And I'm hoping to present that to the board later on.
Okay, that's still not the answering my question. Which one, in your opinion, is more dangerous?
I'd have to look at it again. They both have characteristics of issues that people could.
How many places can you go over the hill on Auger Road? How many can you literally go over the hill on Auger Road and drop 30 or 40 feet? None.
If that's your definition of drainage, we can, or dangerous. I mean, there's areas that guide rail can be put up if that's the case.
I would be happy if you would do that.
Okay.
Bedner, Coleman Road. We've been talking about the road for basically all year, since wintertime. We have gotten no answers yet. I want to know when we're going to get the answers to when the project is going to start, when it's going to be fixed permanently. Can anybody answer that?
No, I think we have to look at everything and how it's going to cost.
Yeah, but we've been talking about looking at it for a whole summer.
Too. We have to look at everything on it. And that's where we had Dan go ahead and look at it. We've had Bill look at it too. So we can find out what it's going to cost to do it and if there's money to do it this year. Or what we can do this year.
This year, I mean, we get something like, well, okay, we're going to have an answer by this date. Because we've been talking about it, like I said, all year. And that's it, it's talk. Well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, nothing's gotten done. We're still in the same position where we were in the spring.
But we'll see what happens tonight. Thank you. Anybody else on the agenda?
Ola Rahim, 122 Rose Avenue. I was wondering when somebody was going to take care of either closing the road or telling us if you were going to open it. There are right now, Elizabeth was kind enough to put barriers up. However, people still from Apple Hill are driving through there, going very fast. I mean, we try to block the area with either my car or my husband's car. People are still going through there. We have kids playing there, and they were not supposed to open that road. So I don't know if you could maybe have a police car stop there. You'll make a lot of money because there's one at Anchor Road. So John wants to
as the people up there know, they're still building out homes in that area. Last time I went through, we had a meeting. I think you may have been here in the past. We've had a meeting with lawyers. It's been several months. We've had Dan go out to the site and meet with their. Dan, was their engineer out there or just a developer?
Just the developer.
Met with the developer, offered some suggestions about to deny access to that road. We did have the Jersey barriers. There was a little cat and mouse game for a while that they removed, and this township put them back. Last time I was there, I know you couldn't get through. I remember the part of the problem is the individual that lives in that lot adjacent to the border, well, part of his property is in Cecil and part is in Canonsburg. Okay, well, you only own, by our definition, at least half of that roadway. I think you have an easement right of way there. The other half we don't, so it's kind of like a rectangular shape where it's hard to block straight across because you don't own straight across. And for us to block straight across, we'd have to move those barriers back and deny your access to your driveway. that was my recollection, Bill and Dawn. I think that was the problem. So where your driveway comes out, it splits 2 municipalities, and you don't have that right of way all the way across. So that's why you have that little portion in Cecil and a portion by you that allows for them to go through. And it's hard for us. Now, that's obviously a temporary situation. We're looking for a permanent solution. We've met with them. We've talked to their attorneys. I think Dawn has talked to the Mayor of Canonsburg over the issue, and there's been no resolution. So to the extent that we can continue to try to keep that road blocked, that's where it sits. There's just a question of what we can ultimately do.
They haven't gone back with what the suggestion we had about a cul-de-sac and everything.
No, and I think Dan even at that site, I don't know if he drew it up, but I know you met with them when we had tentative plans about stopping that and making that a cul-de-sac there.
If they do that, they're going to lose a lot. There's one right in front of my house.
Well, there was a question how we could do that. I think the way it was designed, that lot would still be buildable.
Yeah, we may have modified cul-de-sac. It could be something smaller than we think of, just to get a turnaround there.
Okay, so what if I would decide to move? What if I would sell my house? Then what happens to the person that buys it? I mean, this is just going to keep happening.
You see, the dilemma we're in, we could block that road, but we can only block it on the township side of the road.
So it would block my driveway.
Right, and so that's why we've had this hybrid situation where we block from your driveway and we block from our road, because those are the portions legally we're allowed to control. But that's, again, until we get a final resolution. I've reached out to council for the developer maybe a month or so ago and haven't heard back.
Can you reach out again to them?
I can. I don't know that they're in any rush for resolution, quite honestly. And I know Dawn's talked to Mayor of Canonsburg over the issue, or at least earlier in the summer, and they weren't interested in trying to resolve it as well. So I can do that. I can talk to their council, but I understand your dilemma.
Well, what's happening is there's people moving in now, like the house next door, that's right next to us, and they now call people and tell them, park in front of 122, or the gentleman that just bought the house next to us, park in front of their houses, because Apple Hill doesn't have on-street parking. So now I have, when I get home from work, I got, 5, 6 cars parked in front of my house. I can't even park my own car.
Well, that's a new one. I haven't heard of that, but.
So this has been happening more and more, and the more people that are going to move in and buy these homes in Apple Hill, it's just going to snowball.
Well, the main problem, obviously, when you drive through, the easiest way out is to go past your house.
Absolutely. I mean, when I leave my car in the morning to take my daughter to the bus, do you know how many cars I counted that went through there?
So just
7.
So just your request would be that we somehow figure out a way to close that.
Close it.
Yeah.
And what if we say it has to stay? And I'm just throwing this out there, but it has to stay the way it is now. Would you rather have it open so that you're not trying to dodge around cars and Jersey barriers, or would you rather us continue this?
I just want a solution. I would like for it to be closed, because when my husband and I bought that home, it was no outlet. I mean, it still says that.
Right.
So I would love for it to still be closed.
If you didn't own, I think you either own or have an easement onto the road here, Dan. Is it ownership?
They own it.
Yeah, so you own the middle of that road, and just the way your home is constructed, it just limits what we can do, because we're only allowed to block it on your section because we have your permission to do so, and then we've taken the rest back to the township side. And we don't own any more of that to block it completely. Ideally, we'd like to put a cul-de-sac in. Ideally, I'd like to have your driveway on the Cecil side and just block that road off there. But we don't own that part of the road. That's been our ultimate dilemma. Even an odd situation that you own to the middle of that road to begin with. And if your driveway was further back on Cecil, we would block that road already. But we won't block you out.
But getting back to her question, if you do decide to open it, can you just tell us so we can move on?
Yes. You'd be involved in that discussion, I imagine.
We're just trying to understand that. I mean, in reality, it could be a long time because they're in no hurry to.
No, they're not, and they're the biggest offenders, because all of their trucks come through there. And to their surprise, I was home one day, so I didn't let them go through. I made them go around.
I'll reach out to them again and see. I'll reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.